doing fantastic, and it's always fun to talk to an American Idol.
Yes, exactly. So I'm excited to welcome to the program former contestant American Idol and now musician Zachary McKenzie. How are you, Zachary? Thanks for stopping
I'm
by.
good. I'm good. How are y'all doing today?
All right, fantastic. All right,
Doing
great. I'll
great.
let you kick it off with some questions.
Yeah, I've got one quick one for you
All right.
about American Idol before we hop onto the music. What's the biggest lesson that you learned from your time on American Idol?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. I get asked that a lot, and I feel like I always give a different answer because I'm never prepared for the question. But because there was a lot of lessons. For the biggest lesson, I'm not really sure. I would say it was when I got cut. It was a group day, Hollywood Week. I never made it to the actual live rounds where you voted on them, but uh, I don't want. I always get worried when I tell this story because I don't. I hope the guy's not listening. He's thinking, "Wow, jerk." But we had one guy in our group. I don't remember his name, but he pretty much talked us into doing a song that the rest of us were really not feeling. Now, would it have made a difference had we picked a different song? I don't know, but we did horrible, and the song didn't showcase us at all, and none of us knew the song, and we just got up there and basically just let the piano play, and we were making up the lyrics. And so the lesson is, yeah, if that guy was willing to fight for that song, then I should be willing to. Hey, I don't think I'm going to do good at this, so I'm not doing this song. So I've learned through the years to sort of fight for my rights, so to speak. Especially when there's other people involved, when it's a collaboration. So there's the biggest takeaway, the lesson that I've learned from American Idol.
Yeah,
That's an important lesson.
and it's got to be hard, right? How
Oh
close?
yeah.
So how did it? What year was the American Idol that you participated in, and how close were you in how the rounds worked? Because it changed so much in the years of
Yeah.
American Idol.
Yeah. I was season 12, and I think it was 2012. I think it was a long time ago. And it's interesting because I didn't actually mean to try out for American Idol. I auditioned for Arkansas Idol, which was in Rogers by Fayetteville.
Oh wow.
And I thought it was like a cash prize. I went there because like there were other similar local singing competitions in Little Rock that where you won $3,000 or $5,000 if you won. So I drove all the way to Rogers to do the Arkansas Idol and won. And didn't know that the prize was going to be an all expense paid trip to try out for American Idol in Oklahoma City. So that's how it started. I didn't mean to try out for American Idol. I tried out for a local competition and won it and got to go to the front of the line. And what you see on TV, at least in my experience, is not what actually is going on. I had to go through 3 sets of producers before I even met the judges, and then went back to sing for the judges, and then made it 2 rounds into Hollywood. So I think there were two. I think there was one more round after the group rounds, which is how far I made it. I think there was one more round in Hollywood Week, and then they cut that down to the people that went on to do the live shows. So I was close.
But it's kind of funny, right? How the audition when they do the auditions just in the studio, right?
Yeah.
And to go through the cutoffs, how pressured is it? Is it like what it seems like in the show? You said in the way your pressure that you're going in front of those judges.
In some ways, for me, it happened so fast I didn't have time to think about it because as soon as they called us in, because we waited for hours in a tent, so like there was time to think about it. But like I thought there was going to be when they called your number, like okay, I'm going to stand in line for another couple of hours. I'm gonna have time to sort of regroup. But no, they called my number and I'm following a producer and I turn a corner and there's Randy Jackson, Nicki Minaj, Keith Urban, Mariah Carey. And they said, okay, here you are. I said, oh, I'm in here. I'm doing this right now. There was no time to think about it. I should have thought about it while I was in the tent for 7 hours. But now I'm in front of these judges. And it was a lot of pressure, but it was good for me because not having the time to really think about it and was put on the spot, I think is the reason I did good. It's kind of like singing the national anthem. I love the national anthem. I'll stand up and put my hand over my heart, but I hate singing it because there's pressure. If I forget the lyrics to the national anthem, I'm going to get shredded on social media. So I've learned, I've never forgot the lyrics to the national anthem, but if I'm overthinking it, I'm going to forget the lyrics. If I'm just thrown into it and have no time to think about it, I'm going to do fine. And I think that's why I did so good in my audition in front of the judges, because it happened so fast. And yeah, so I think God was shining down on me in that moment, because I'm like, if you have time to think about it, you're going to go in there and overthink it.
Makes sense.
If that makes any sense. I know that's a long answer, but yeah.
No, it's a good answer. So, Zach, so tell us about your latest music release and what inspired it.
The song came out last Friday. It's called "Don't Dish It Out If You Can't Take It." I know it's a long title. It's almost a verse, but really, I got to give credit to my wife, because she had this idea, because we were listening to, and I'll go ahead and tell the whole story. We were listening to "When It Rains, It Pours" by Luke Combs, and she said, "Why don't you write a song about a popular saying?" And I always say, "Don't dish it out if you can't take it." Like I'm kind of that. In that area, I'm pretty honest. Like if they're the butt of all the jokes and they don't like it, but they joke around with everybody else, I'm the guy that's like, well, then don't be joking around with other people if you don't want to get, And this particular song is about moving on from someone that cheated on you, and they're upset that you moved on. And I've seen that a couple of times in my life with different situations. And I always kind of sat back and thought, well, maybe you shouldn't have done the cheating if you didn't want them to move on and find someone who's not going to cheat on them. So that's what the song's about.
Very, very interesting. And now Greg has, before Greg's final question, what are your hopes for music in your career? Like where you're at right now and where you want to go?
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy right now getting to do it full time. I feel very blessed that I'm in that position, but obviously I want to take it a step further. My dream is to go on tour, and I don't know to what capacity, I'll get to do it, if I'm a career opener or if I'm playing small clubs. But yeah, I want to travel and get it out there to as many people that are willing to hear it, and take it a step further. Obviously, I'll be brutally honest. The dream would be to get a record deal and have the song be on the radio and, get to do the Super Bowl. But I know not everybody gets to do that. So honestly, I get to do it full time already. But if I could add that I get to go on tour, throughout the year, then that would be living the dream.
So how are you able to do it full time if you're not touring?
I sing in restaurants all across Arkansas and surrounding states. I have every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is booked for the next 2 or 3 months, and I always try to book out about 3 months. And I also do private parties and stuff, so that's where I'm getting to make a living and pay the bills with it.
That's fantastic.
Well, that's cool. Hey, Neil, can you play his song when you air this
Yes, I can.
on your show? That'd be cool.
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. We'll throw that in the song into the mix. Great job, Greg. Again, see, Greg's learning the whole radio gig, not just the podcasting gig.
Neil's got like over 5 million listeners. I'm like, that ought to help you get people excited to hear your music, I think.
Yeah. And the number, I guess, 12 celebrity podcasts in the world, according to FeedSpot. Continue great things coming our way. Greg, you have your final question.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear your answer, Zachary, especially since you have a nice relationship at home with your family. That's always an important thing. So tell me, what do you feel is the most important thing in life you've ever learned so far?
It's a good question. The most important thing I've ever learned in my life. Wow, you hit me with you got me with that one. I've got a lot, but the most important lesson I've ever learned. Honestly, it's a simple answer. It's think ahead. Try to think about what's gonna, when you're going to do anything, whether it's start a business or in my case, write a song or book a show or whatever the next career move is going to be. Try to think of how what is this going to look like in 6 months? And I think that's with everything. That's with relationships. That's with jobs. That's with what are you planning to wear today? I mean, it's seriously like, how is this going to affect my life, good or bad, 6 months from now? That's probably the most important lesson I've ever learned, because I've had so many situations where I've looked back and went, oh, if I'd have done that differently, or if I'd have said this differently, you know, things might be a little better. Not that things are bad, but you know what I'm saying. Think ahead.
Gotcha.
Wonderful. And that's so important, because you never know. But as you told in the story of American Idol, you'll keep thinking about that. That's the kind of story I think about looking at the biggest break. I almost ended up on Fox News twice. Once almost drove all the way as a teacher. When I was a teacher, they knew I was media. Didn't happen. Then I got pulled again. So always still rethinking. If I wouldn't have been in that position at that point, would I have gotten on with Megyn Kelly? You know, talking about the teacher strike back in the day. So you always have those moments in your life. You're saying, what if I would have done something differently? So such a great point. Zachary, best place we can check out your music. Where can we go?
My YouTube channel is called Zach McKenzie Official. And also I've got TikTok, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, and that song, as well as last year's single, The Day That I Found You, is available on all major streaming platforms.
All right. Fantastic, Zachary. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Special simulcast